Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody. How you all doing?
Hi,
Yeah,
everybody.
that's right. This is the Couch Live. I'm the street certified dope Dr. Louis Delgado here with you. And of course, that's Dr. Brown. And I'll explain that in a sec. But before then, you're probably listening to this, at 1680 WOKB AM in the Central Florida area or 100.7 FM on that dial in the Central Florida area. And of course, some of you listen on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, all things like that. Again, we've been doing this since 1999 as a Couch Live, and still going strong, along with my new co-host, fairly new co-host, but I've known JoJo for a long time. And JoJo, got a new
Yeah,
name that I'm calling you now. Finally got a new name that I'm calling you, right?
right.
So you want to go ahead and explain the name situation for us, JoJo?
Yes. So on June 29th, I graduated with my doctorate in Christian counseling. So I am officially Dr. Johanna Bacolia Brown. Whatever you want to call me.
What
I
do you
have,
whatever? What do you whatever? No, it's Dr. Brown now.
I do like how that sounds. I must
Dr.
say.
Brown. I
I
love
used to be Dr. JoJo, but then after getting it,
it. Yeah.
it's like, no, I'm Dr.
Yeah.
Brown. And so, yes, it's gonna be a transition, but
It is.
I love it. I'm ecstatic. It was a long dream that I've always had.
Yeah.
And the most funny part is like
Well.
my dad's name is Doctor. Like his first name is Doctor. So now I just make this joke like, oh, well, I'm a junior or the
Yeah. I can call you Junior.
yeah, he didn't have any. Well, he didn't have any boys. Let's just say that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I'm just, I don't think I can tell you, Jojo, seriously, how proud I am of you because I know the challenges that you faced in your life and the challenges you face. And you persevere, you fight. You are a true definition of not just a survivor, you're a thriver. I don't call you a survivor. You're definitely a thriver. You know how to just boom, get out the way, and just keep going. And I'm so very proud of you. No, seriously, I'm so very proud of you.
thank you.
And I had no idea when I invited you to be co-host of this show that you were even doing that. And I love the way you surprised me one day when we were talking, and all of a sudden it was like, "Oh yeah, it's a couple days away," and I'm like, "What?
Right? Yes, yes. Oh my.
Yeah.
Oh, and then let me say this, just because everyone asks me this. Everyone asks me, "Am I a preacher now?" And
Oh,
it's a difference because so I'm gonna have this quick education. It's a difference. There is a degree
uh,
called doctorate of ministry, and you can have your doctorate in ministry in so many things.
right.
And so my doctor is not in ministry. Um,
Okay.
and this is not to minimize anybody because that's something hard to do. The
Right.
doctor of ministry doesn't require a dissertation. So that's what I mean, that's the major separation because
Right.
my dissertation was 98 pages.
Ooh.
And so yes. So I just want to say that because I've asked so many times, are you a preacher now? I'm like, no,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I'm still a counselor.
They don't know how much work you put into it.
No. Woo,
No. Well, check
sweating.
this out. We got Marissa from New York. She writes this. You want to go ahead and read it?
Dr. JoJo, cuz Dr. Brown was someone in the school district we had to fight growing up. LOL. Unless you want to prevent Dr. Brown and make it a good thing.
Yeah, we want you to reinvent Dr. Brown. Yeah. That other guy doesn't have or girl, I don't know what it was, but that other Dr. Brown is of no consequence, Marissa. This is Dr. Brown now.
That is too
This is
funny.
Dr. Brown. That is funny. That's awesome. Anyway, congratulations on that. So now that you're a doctor, I got so many questions now because, we missed a show while you were doing that. People don't know that you were actually, you were graduating. We had to let you graduate and have your party.
Yes.
So we had to let you celebrate and do all that. And
Sorry.
So that's all right. That's all right. We're back now. But some things happened, JoJo, which is why I wanted to call the show "Innocent Until Proven Guilty" today.
Okay.
because we've had all these major cases. And let me tell you something, as a society, we just love drama, right? We love watching other people's mess. That's why reality TV is just
Yes.
so awesome, right?
Right.
So many of us are happy that Big Brother's back. At least I am. I know my family is. We like watching it. Uh,
Oh,
just
that's
love the drama stuff that happens.
yes. They'll watch that before they watch us. 10 toes down.
Oh, my family. I don't think any of them has ever watched me. To be honest with you,
Add a little
JoJo.
and like
Yeah,
1, 2.
yeah, exactly. But, so we had some big cases like the Karen Reed case, right? And then we had the Diddy case. So two big cases where it appears, and maybe I'm wrong, that when we say innocent until proven guilty, like, do we still believe in that as a society, Jojo? I mean, is that still? I know it's a thing in the courts, right?
Mm-hmm.
But as a society, do we really believe that, or did we ever? I mean, I'm a little confused about that. I think the only people that believe in innocent until proven guilty is the person getting accused. I think that's the only person who really believes that.
Well, there's a few rare people like my crazy butt. Like I do have the mentality in innocent until proven guilty, and I have gotten in so many debates.
Really?
It. Yes, but I will say I agree with you completely. I think social media proves it all. Is that when something happens, I mean, you're gonna get hammered
Right.
and you're gonna get praised and
Right.
fought for on the other end. And so,
Right.
yes, absolutely, there are a lot of people who don't. They're guilty until innocent, or
Yeah.
they'll never be innocent. They just guilty. Like the
Right.
case, they could win the case.
And
There's
still be innocent.
right. There's
Right.
no what do you call it? Information
Right.
of them doing anything wrong. But if social media says you wrong, you still wrong.
Well, this is why I want to talk about it, because I think it falls in the lap of, this show is focused on addiction and recovery and mental health issues and the family, and it reminds me of certain decisions that I've had to make in my life where I stay far away from it, because even just a thought or an accusation will ruin you,
Mm-hmm.
right? It just ruins you. So I stay away from certain things that could even look like a problem, JoJo. I mean, 'cause look at me. I don't fit the stereotype of the helping professional, right? And when I go out, and I know it even more so when I'm out there mingling around out in the social world, and I even bring up what I do for a living, at first they're like, I wouldn't have thought you to be that. Until I say I treat people with addiction issues. They go, oh, yeah, I could see that.
That's so funny.
So I don't even match the stereotype of what people think of the person that helps other humans. They can't even imagine me graduating high school, much less having letters behind my name.
But I love that. I love that.
So I'm bringing this up because I don't know if it helps our clientele or if it hurts them that people struggle with. Just let it play out. Let's see what the information
Correct.
is before creating such a solid decision, because I don't know. And let me ask you something. Here's a question. Let me do it in the form of a question instead.
Okay.
Do you know anyone in your personal life that through the course of Diddy trial changed their opinion on whether he was innocent or guilty?
Good question. I think definitely. Oh, this is. Let me. I know that there was someone who was swaying more on that they were guilty versus innocent. Definitely, yeah. So I'll say yes.
What changed that person's mind?
Well, he has all these charges,
Right.
and if you look at it, some would say they haven't proved anything other than he's a freaky person. Like
Yes.
he's kinky, he's freaky. But some of those other charges, like trafficking and things like that, after you get the meat and the potatoes,
Right.
it's one of those things where, he's looking more innocent than guilty. That's just like you have a jury that, you have to, there's no other possible way. There's no doubt in you before you, cast your vote. And I don't think a lot of people can do that. Like, and nail him, like, and say he's guilty. He's guilty of all these things.
Well, let me ask you this. So I'm going to go a little further because, first of all, the answer to me, if I would be asked that question, I don't know not one person that changed their mind because of the trial.
Really?
I did not. I can't even mention a piece of evidence that was new during the course of the trial because all we kept hearing is, like you said, the kinkiness, the freakiness, the freak-offs, and the video that we saw of him being a very bad person when he was hitting her.
He's guilty.
That he's guilty of. That, I mean, I think my eyes saw what they saw. I mean, like, I know AI is a thing out there, but that's a show for another day. But what I'm saying is,
and he admitted,
I didn't hear any new stuff that would go to anything about the charges. And then, let me ask you something. Innocent until proven guilty is what we're talking about. I didn't even understand the charges from day one. The day one when I heard the charges, I said he's getting off. I don't think he's innocent as a person in my definition of what I think innocence is, but I'm not so sure those words that they put as charges are what I would have charged him with. But then again, I'm not, I'm in the helping profession. I'm not a DA. I'm not an attorney that's trying to put people behind bars and hold them accountable.
Right.
So during the course of the trial, all it did is show me that when you charged him with that, we didn't fully understand why you charged him with it. During it, we still don't understand why you charged him with that stuff. And now that it's over, we still don't understand the charges because at the beginning you showed us hitting a woman. During it, you showed us hitting a woman. And at the end, you showed him hitting a woman. Yet, he's not charged with that. So.
And that's the part that, I can, like you said, I can say he's completely guilty of. The rest, I say and I'm not going to say the rest because I don't want, if I miss certain clip, you know what I mean? Like, exactly. So I at some point, I got tired.
Right.
Of watching it because, like you said, in every way, it was like, what are we really doing?
Nothing new.
Yeah. So, like, what is he? He's guilty of a lot of baby oil. Like he's guilty of being a freak. He's guilty because he's an ass. He could be a butthole.
That was close there, Jojo. Good cover. Good job. Yeah, good job.
So yes, you could tell some of those things with him. You learn a little bit more about his character and certain things like that.
Yeah.
But I agree with you. But from the beginning, I'm always, I guess you can call me like the rebel. Like I always challenge someone to see the other side, So if you have a conversation with me, I'm like, well, how do you know they're guilty?
Yeah.
What did you really see to make them guilty? I'm that person.
Oh, yeah. One of my daughters even got mad at me just for even insinuating that he was going to get off. I said, well, not because I think he's an innocent person, not that I think that he's a good person. I'm just saying that what I'm hearing about the charges, I don't see him, unless they come out with some stuff, then, yeah. And answer me this.
They chose the wrong charges.
Were you not disappointed that we didn't come out with some good stuff? I thought we were going to hear about other artists. I thought we were going to hear some dirt, man. I thought this is the trial of the century. We're going to hear some good stuff, man. We're going to hear about all these other singers. I think Justin Bieber, every day he's just getting skinnier and skinnier, worried about what's about to happen. Nothing happened with him. Like I kept on wondering something's going to happen. And nothing popped. Nothing popped.
What popped was some people who, who were a part of certain things and, it came out about their feelings and things like that.
Yeah, but no, like, how much video must be out there?
See, it still doesn't fit the charges. But
that's what I'm saying.
See some people who are involved and having a good time or at these parties who it negatively, it impacted them negatively.
Yeah, and at the end, we're allowed to be freaks, man. That's that the lesson of the day, kids, is you may not like it, but apparently you're allowed to be freaks. Because the one thing I think we can all agree with is it's not we should never lay our hands on a woman. That has to be wrong. But is that the lesson that ended up coming out? I mean, they showed that video 1,000 times, so you would have hoped, man, can we get him for something for that? Because that right there, that's bad behavior.
Domestic violence.
Domestic violence is the problem, right? But that's not that. All the conversation is about these freak offs and freak offs and freak.
And the effects that he had on certain people, which is sad, but that's also like a mental health. That we could tap into mental health. As far as when healing goes, and
right.
Putting ourselves in certain positions that we later on realize, weren't what they should have been, or we made bad choices. We allowed someone to manipulate us. That's real. But that make you, guilty of certain charges because you have someone who's manipulative.
Right.
No. But as far as people who were, of course, if they have domestic violence or sexual assault, then yeah, you're supposed to,
right.
Well,
but the sad thing is we always have to explain why a person one day, they made a big to do about her one day saying, I miss it. I want, I'm craving one right now. Right. And then her saying that she felt like that she had to go along with this. And they're like, well, then why is this text message say, well, because you're not understanding true mental health, my brother, because in true mental health issues where someone is, maybe has a history of sexual abuse, or maybe has a history of some sort of trauma or some sort of need of approval of some sort, we tend to make decisions to get that. But we tend to make decisions that maybe you just don't get completely, because we don't get them ourselves completely, brother. Because when we're sitting in that therapy office, that's exactly what we're doing with the therapist. We're like, how is it that I like it, but I don't? I want to do it, but I don't. It feels good, but it hurts my life. I mean, these are what our patients discuss on a daily basis in our offices.
Right. Yeah. I did it, but I didn't want to.
Right.
It's a normal traumatic, response.
Right.
Which I think that's missing also in just our. Oh, I guess my phone's not on vibrate. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Something that we need to really just learn. And I think as a culture, that trauma is real and it looks different on different people. So no one really knows to the extent, I feel like, of what took place in certain ways. So I don't think no one should be able to say, well, oh, she's full of it, or oh, she's telling the truth. No one really knows in that room other than there was trauma. Trauma could have been forced. Trauma could have not been forced and steered from childhood abuse or anything like that. It could be a number of reasons why when she took the stand, it was double-sided.
Right. And I'm kind of frustrated that they started with her, right? The very first person on the stand. They ask her, she has to go through all the questions. She has to go through her whole life. And I mean, she's trying to live her own life now. She's got a baby on the way. She's, she's got a new man. She's trying to live in a different direction, but she had to relive all this in the public eye and get scrutinized. And then her video is on every day, all day long. Her video of a traumatic moment in her life is on every day of her life. So like if her children ever Google her name, that's all they're going to see come up with a Google. And then at the end of the day, nothing that you charged this man with was relevant to you having her go through that on the stand over and over. So what you did is you re-traumatized her and re-traumatized her and re-traumatized her. And then the traumatizing of public opinion is like on top of her, because there's always at least 50% of the population that's re-traumatizing her on social media. It's like, so what was the win here for her? Like,
she won that money.
She already had it.
But that's the thing. A lot of people say that, right? Let's get to that too. Okay. They also say, another belief system.
So you're saying she would have got more money if he was found guilty?
No, I'm saying a lot of again, on the other side, right?
Okay.
Talk about it. They say that she was upset and like a scorned heart. And so that's what happened. The money wasn't enough. What I mean? I'm still angry about this and tried to tear his empire down. I've heard that side as well too. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Is she the one that said let's take him to court? Is she the one that came up with the check? Because I don't think so.
I again
She
don't.
knew about that video. That video, she didn't leak it.
She knew about the video. But I'm just giving the speculation of what I hear and see.
I know, and again, so that's the innocent until proven guilty, right? Because now it went from the defendant being innocent until proven guilty to now her. Is she innocent until proven guilty? See, we're all going to have feelings about her based on maybe our own relationships with women close to being like her, right? Like, so every man out there is going to somehow have a little reference book of somebody that they remind her of, that reminds them of her. And every female out there is going to have a little reference book of a woman like that reminds them of her, and be like, oh, they're going to feel like they know her or her intentions or her reasoning based on their own reference points in their own brain rather than any facts.
Social media plays a huge part of that as well. I think all of the above, and that's why it's so controversial.
So sad.
You have people like that, what you're sharing about, and then you have people that can't relate at all, but they're gonna pick a side based off of the information that they have in their own interpretation of it. So once again, I think the biggest thing is, which is unfortunate, is when you have these individuals in, like artists and things like that, and they go through certain trials, how it becomes a worldwide thing. And I think because of that, it also makes things difficult when it comes to these trials versus something being more quiet, and the evidence is the evidence. You focus on that. You don't have to focus on society and all the news and all that tabloids and stuff like that. I think that affects everyone too, because you can't tell me, this is one thing I have to say, Louis.
Say it.
You know how the jurors are supposed to stay away and not hear
right, yeah
anything, and we know that does not happen. I mean,
they didn't sequester the jury. This judge did not sequester the jury, so that jury every day went home. And
you can't help.
Come on.
You could walk down the street and hear something about the case. I went and got my nails done, and they say don't talk about politics.
Right.
And the lady is standing there talking to the nail tech loudly about her political beliefs. I didn't walk into what do you call it, a conference, anything like that. I was just getting my nails done. And so I say all that to say the whole part about the jurors can't see or hear anything, it's just bogus.
No, and so getting back to how it affects our population, a person that we're trying to help, what about now all the men and women out there that are in those situations right now, currently? How are they now to feel comfortable in even outing their situation and trying to get help for it? I mean,
I think it's both. I think you have women.
I think it makes it hard for the current victims to feel like they can come out and get any help or support.
I think you have both coming to the surface.
Okay, talk to me. Sell me on this new understanding that I'm struggling with.
Okay, so you have the group of people, yes, that are more fearful and that they don't want to come forth about their abuse. Absolutely. Okay. But then you also have a group of people who now feel empowered to come out and speak their truth. So you have both.
Yeah.
And I wish the other side, would not feel so afraid and come on to the other realm. But that right there just means that they have another level of healing to do, so that they can be able to face whatever they need to in regards to their trauma. So that's what I think.
We're
talking about true victims, you know what I mean? Like true victims. I think they all should have a voice. It's so important to heal and have get your voice back, because at some point you lost it.
Right. I just think coming off this R. Kelly case that we had, and that's, right. The R. Kelly case we put those women, when they put themselves through that ordeal to communicate it, they at least united and felt like, well, we have to do this because that's the only way to stop this. The only way to put an end to this is if we speak up. And I think a lot of gain was made with
that
that.
took time though.
It took a lot of time. And it took a lot of pain. And trust me, I mean, to go through all that and then have to vocalize it in a court of law, it's not easy, people. It's just not easy. It's hard to vocalize it in a therapy room where you're supposed to feel safe, much less in front of the world to be judged by you
That's
people.
an example.
You know what I mean?
That's an example of what we were just talking about.
Right.
That through their experience and what they were encountering, right, they were empowered. Like you said, it took time, but the situation, the circumstances, right, the allegations, it gave them a sense of strength.
Right.
And so that right there is what, healing and trauma, that's what matters to me in this case.
Well, this is what frustrates me about this. Well, this is what frustrates me about this case in the first place is that so if you, the DA, are going to charge him with racketeering and all these RICO case stuff and, so stuff that is mobster related kind of stuff, don't use me as a pawn in the case if that's not really where you're chasing him with. If you're using me just say he's a bad person, use something else. You don't need to use my story for that. Because that's not even what you're trying to really sell. You're trying to sell that he's involved in racketeering and conspiracy and in this greater network of criminality. And then at the end of the day, if I go around and ask random people, give me 5 crimes that he's known to have done from the case. You heard the case. Give me 5 things that it's always going to be about, domestic violence, right? That's always everybody's going to lead with domestic violence and freakiness, and that's not illegal to be freaky. Prostitution, right, which is not illegal everywhere, right? And the way people really feel about it, people may not like it, but people aren't really anti it either as a society. Prostitution and marijuana are in the same kind of category where like people are against it, but not really against it. Again, just not in my backyard. Just not, you know what I mean?
Because there is a thin line between that and sex trafficking.
And thank you for going there because that's exactly where I'm going. So at the end of it all, should we not have walked away at bare minimum with a good understanding as to why they keep charging high-profile individuals with sex trafficking when it's by either a massage therapist or a prostitute or something like that? They try to do it with Robert Kraft, right? Didn't work. The guy who owns the Patriots, didn't work, didn't stick. They tried to do it with Diddy. It got him, but only because he moved the prostitute from across state lines. Really, that's and I guess because the prostitute actually came and said something on, he actually went to court, which is a little awkward, but he did. So those are the kinds of things. I'm like, are we not learning something from this? Should we not walk away with at least a good understanding of if you're out there and you're engaging in prostitution, are you also engaged in sex trafficking? And what does that really mean? What changes it from simple prostitution to sex trafficking?
It's not by choice. It's by force or by manipulation or by sorry, just having a moment. But because I've worked with a lot of kids who sex trafficked.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Very saddening. It's the person that was unable to say no. It's the person who are required to do it, in order to eat. Yeah. They have to give their money to someone else, and they don't have a choice in that matter.
Right.
So that's where the thin line comes from, because a lot of it's a package. The sex trafficked individual is prostituting. But they don't have a say in the matter. I think other populations, maybe, I don't want to generalize with somebody, but like I know in entertainment clubs, there's a group of individuals that don't, sell their bodies for cash. And then there's some that do in our society, and has nothing to do with being forced to do so. However, they may be a lot. If a lot, I always believe this: if you are prostituting,
Hmm.
there is some type of trauma that you experienced for your sense of self-worth and self-esteem to be where that is, where you're comfortable doing that freely. Not to say that you don't have a form of healing, but that's the separation from prostitution and sex trafficking.
And I agree with that. I see, and I agree with that. I think you're hitting on it, right? But at the end of the day, it's our poor understanding of that business in the first place. And then and
It's a huge problem too.
yeah, and what do they say? This is the oldest profession or something like that, right? It's a,
Like the
and
number three, I believe, in the U.S. Like Florida is so
right,
high on the
right,
totem pole because
mm,
of us having that I-4.
right,
Um, it's a huge issue in Florida.
right.
And a
But I
lot of
think,
people don't know that.
but Joshua, I think we're struggling. We're struggling because we're not correctly, I guess, promoting the understanding of how those two are related. I think for most of the population, and maybe I'm wrong, but I really feel that most of the population views prostitution as something fairly innocent, and they view sex trafficking as something horrible, and yet still don't connect the two all the time, right? They don't really connect the two, and I think, unfortunately, the two are so interconnected that it's hard to
Definitely.
disengage it. It's very similar to when I said marijuana. I mean, because there is marijuana and how everybody, we all know people that use it casually, doesn't harm their life, whatever, compared to the business of the illegal marijuana game, which does involve some horrific violence and other things that maybe the casual smoker of marijuana doesn't really want to partake in or be accused of. So to me, it's almost like being accused of, like, let's say you're just innocently imbibing in something, using a substance, and you're saying, I'm just a casual user, I'm not hurting anybody. But the whole way that got to you and the people that got it to you may be engaged in other activities that now you're getting charged with. And that's kind of how this all, to me, kind of relates. It's like when you watch something like this happen, I think we need to do a better job of explaining how your decision as a private citizen, regardless of you feeling like you're hurting anybody or that all parties involved are willing participants, your decision to do it, there's an industry behind every decision you make. And in that industry, there's all kinds of things happening. I'm going to go to the simple. When
Yeah,
you purchase a shirt for $5, who made that shirt? Like, for that shirt to be only $5, that's not a union employee getting $30 an hour to make that shirt. So you have to be okay with that. Behind that purchase, there's an industry of suffrage. And that exists in so many things. When you eat that fruit, there's an industry of suffrage behind you eating that fruit.
I agree. But I do think, which it's unfortunate how this is played out. But I do think in our society as well, sex trafficking has been finally come to the forefront, where um, a lot of individuals, or we are now paying attention that, sex trafficking is real and it happens more often than
Yeah.
we've ever, seen or paid attention to. And so I think with that being said, like, no, they haven't proved that, but I can see why that he would be charged with that because it's such a thin line. I think before, we've had pimps. We know people as pimps in our world, but the reality is no one really connected like a pimp is a sex
Right.
trafficker. You know what I
Right.
mean? But now that conversation has arisen, so it is unfortunate for someone to be charged with something they did not do. That's a given. But I do appreciate the fact that people are learning more about sex trafficking, and if they don't like what you said,
Right.
now they can.
Yeah.
Now it's a different conversation.
Right. Well, but see, that's my point. So I think because we're not there, I think we need to stop trying to elevate certain words or the crime, bring it down to something 100% understood by the population, because at the end of the day, I'm going to be judged by a jury of my peers. And my peers, regardless of what attorney gets up there and explains, well, sex trafficking is blah, 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 we're still going to dummy it down to our brain. We're going to dummy it down to what I know. You got to talk to me in my language. And in my language, I'm going to separate those two until the day you come up with another one that just says, this is what the person did, and it has to match that really well. And then maybe the most severe thing being sex trafficking. I get what we're trying to do. We're trying to actually end sex trafficking. We're trying to free people from being trafficked. Yes, but I don't think by charging people like Diddy or charging people like Kraft is doing it. It might be bringing some awareness, but we're not there yet. Let's keep bringing awareness and have that intermediary case. Mm-hmm. You know, we're and I don't know how to do it, Jojo. I'm just saying that it makes it difficult for people in that situation to out themselves and, hey, I think I might be getting trafficked. I think I'm one of these, because I believe there's women that are in the situation that really don't know that they're in that situation of that definition.
That's very true. They see that person as,
and men too. I'm sorry to say just women. I think men and women.
Oh, absolutely. You know, they see that the person as their provider because they've been groomed and things like that. Right. So they feel like they're being trafficked at all, like what you said. But I don't. It's sad that if a person is innocent, they have to be put on this front TV screen to say like this is what you are for people to get aware. That is definitely unfortunate, but then it's also in the same, and this doesn't make it right, but there's always someone that stirs up. It's kind of like there were no red light cameras, right? But the last person made it like, no, bump that, like we're gonna put cameras up now, and so there's always that. I want to call it the sacrifice, but that one person that brings to the forefront for change.
I see what you're saying.
Yes, it's an unfortunate, and I don't wish anything like that on someone. But if also viewed as that one person, Diddy, has opened up a whole universe of, hey, sex trafficking is real. What does it look like? Is this what I am? Is this what's happening to me? Opposed to, or am I doing this at my free will? And hopefully now we'll become a better country and learn something from this. I think there's always a lesson, in something. So,
see, and I guess what I'm saying is that every time one of these cases go through and the people get off, then what are we doing to the regular Joe out there that gets pulled into court? What are we charging them with? Are we charging the regular Joes with that too? And they're getting off? Because now it makes me think. I mean, are they all like? I only know of. I'm just bringing up 2 cases, right? But is there like a whole slew of people getting off on these kind of cases? Whereas, is there another charge for just, because I know there is a charge for like, I had a person that I knew very well got charged for engaging in prostitution, and that person got that charge. They didn't get a sex trafficking charge, and they got convicted of that charge, and rightly so. That person did it, right? So that dude had to pay that price. You know what I mean?
Well, I think awareness is good too. Like, I can't speak for every state, but there's a lot of like trauma workshops and things like that going on with judges and attorneys and things like that that wasn't happening before. So I think that also opens up those doors as well. You have, police now having a trauma team opposed to, what they had before. So I was just, someone just talked to me about having, speaking with a group of judges to learn more about trauma so that when they're seeing these cases, they can identify certain things to see that. And so again, it's sad, but I hope that, like what you said, we grow through this as a country, as a state, to be able to identify what that really looks like now, so that we can save more women and men. And then we also cannot falsely charge innocent people of something that was not sex trafficking.
Right.
I like though it's out there because it's a huge problem.
It really is. It really is. And and I know you've worked in it in your way. I've worked in it in my way. I know some individuals who go rescue, uh, people from this.
Yeah,
That's a very covert, secret. It's like a black ops operation,
they
and I love what they're doing to go rescue it.
they
But
investigate for
they
months.
do, they do. But what I want is the people that are actually involved in it and knowing they're trafficking to get charged with one thing, and then the end user consumer to be charged with something that we can convict. Don't
Mhm.
overcharge them, hold them accountable, because you got to hold them accountable to get to the up here. It's just like, like conspiracy charges in the drug game. It's just like that. You say conspiracy, man, they got everybody with conspiracy and Fed charges, man. But if you go to everybody for being a drug trafficker, you're going to miss out on the boat. That's why they get you with conspiracy charges, because then they get everybody. It's easy. It's easy to convict on conspiracy charges compared to, something else.
But
Don't treat everybody as a kingpin. Is my point. Don't treat everybody as a kingpin.
well, they used to only go for the kingpin. Now they getting no. I mean, that's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother topic.
They want the man, the other man, the trafficker, the driver. They want everything.
You're right.
You know?
So Karen Reed, that's another case. Innocent until proven guilty. Another case that everybody had an opinion. Again, I don't know anybody that changed their opinion from the beginning of the case to the end of the case. Everybody that I know that I had this conversation around seemed to, whatever they thought at the beginning, they thought the same at the end.
Really?
I didn't hear people change their minds. I didn't hear anybody go, oh my God, from everything we heard in the trial, I now think she did it, or I now think she's innocent. No.
So I like my family and friends because we be going at it. Like you know.
No, I don't mean not going at it. What I mean is like not changing their opinion because of details that came out. In other words, whatever came out, the details that came out, because here's what happens, JoJo. Tell me if I'm wrong. We tend to communicate a lot with people who think like us, and our social media tends to revolve around things that people think like you. So whatever you think, your sources of giving you media information validate your opinion. Then the opposing person is getting the same thing, but the sources and everything that kind of go into their feed validates their opinion. So all the social media does is it strengthens your view on your personal opinion, because that's what you're being fed. That's what it appears to be to me.
Group of people like us, because you're not like that.
Well, I'm a surfer though. I like flipping, so I don't think my social media algorithm doesn't know what side I'm really on. You know what I mean? I can tell by what it sends me. It sends me things for both sides as if I'm into both. I think my algorithm just says this guy's confused.
But I will say, going back to what you said, I promise you, I have family and friends, right? And we'll be going through this debate. Like, they're saying they're guilty. I'm like, no, they're innocent. How can you say they're guilty? Right. And then by the end of it, they're like, man, JoJo, you were right.
Really?
Now, yeah, I have those conversations, those debates with. So, like, for me, and I encourage other people, don't be around people. I mean, not say don't lose your friends. But if you don't have anybody in your life who challenges your thoughts,
amen.
That's a problem. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful to have like a tribe like that. That, man, it's good.
Well, I personally think all trials should be televised. I just do. Sequester anytime it's a big case like a murder or something like that, jury should always be sequestered. And every trial that's high profile should be fully televised. And I mean fully televised. I don't need the talking heads to spin it in one direction and give it to me. Let us have all of it. Let us we're gonna hear it anyway. We're gonna digest it in parts anyway. So let us all just get it. Give it to us.
No, Louis, but what about instead of that, the opposite?
What?
Like just letting the trial be the trial and no one being able to, post anything, and then there is no more of this back and forth.
Wait, nobody be able to post anything? What do you mean?
No, I'm saying like if these trials were just the people in the trial,
private,
like you're not able to go on social media and talk about certain things in the trial. Like, how do you think that would affect? Because at the end of the day, like a lot of the, the news and stuff knows what we like. We like drama. Like, like we're talking about it. The world loves drama. But if you take out the component of this live broadcast where you have commentators and everyone else being able to, you know,
I don't know.
play,
I don't know, JoJo. I don't know.
I think it would be better.
I don't know if I can say better. I look, public executions
Like, mind
were a thing. You know what I mean?
Mind your business. They ain't got nothing to do with you in your life. Let the Diddy trial be the Diddy trial, and they gonna figure all that out. You're not taking a stand anyway, right? Why can't be like that? Back in the day, and you read it in the newspaper a month later or whatnot, and they gave you a little excerpt and told you what happened. I think it was different then.
I think all foolishness should be on display. I think we need to see it all. All. I mean, no, I don't want to.
World crazy now. Because the social media has opened, and I'm not saying social media has not done some good things, because they have. Yeah. But social media has brought in a can of just foolishness that, if you think about, when I think about me being a kid and stuff, like, life was so different in a lot of good ways. Like, you don't realize how good you had and what life experiences were until now. You living in this right there. I told my son the other day, like, y'all don't know, you do not know what good living is. We used to hang out at the park, pull up our rides and sit on the hoods. Y'all can't do that because y'all shooting everything up. You know, we went outside and played, you know, and now you have social media and they talk 5 letters is a whole sentence, you know, like.
Yeah, I don't know.
Take it out. That was my point. Take it away. Take it away. Become more like, you know, y'all. See, I this is probably gonna sound really bad, Louis.
What's up?
I don't watch the news.
You don't need to.
I don't listen to the news. You know why?
You don't need to.
Because it's a, like, no. And if it's something I need to know, guess who's gonna call me? My mama, my daughter.
So that's how you watch it.
Yeah.
You watch the news through other people, through a filtered lens.
I hear about it.
Yeah, but even when you watch the news, that's what we're doing. To be honest with you, that's my point. When you watch the news or listen to the news, you're still hearing it filtered. There's no Walter Cronkite today. They all have an agenda. It appears, you know, they're talking heads. They're not real journalists, right?
But that's why
just talking heads. They're all personalities. We like personalities.
That's why I say get rid of it, though.
Oh man, no! Just do it all. Just do it. Just admit that that's what you're. See, I don't say get rid of it. I just say just know what you're watching. Just know that it's an opinion. Like, everybody's talking out there like it's fact.
Look, that's not going to happen. We know it's not happening.
I know. I mean, look at our business. Look at our business. Our helping professional. How many times do I call out fake therapists online? I say they all think they're all therapists. Like, we're getting mental health advice from people who have zero qualifications to actually provide any kind of therapy to people.
These conferences and things like that.
I mean, come on. This person's not qualified, and they're out there with lots of followers going to help in helping people. So, all right, let them help, but at least just know that that's not a licensed provider. That's not a person that's qualified to see you. But that's fine what they're doing, because if it's helping you, that's what really matters. At the end of the day, to me.
Yeah.
If it's helping you, then it's helping you. But if that person would get up there and say, "Look, don't listen to the doctor, you know, listen to me because I know better," then it's like, whoa, now slow up. State your opinion without having to knock the other. That's the way you got to do it. You got to state the opinion without having to knock the other. Because do we know that there's doctors that don't know what they're talking about? 100%. I hire them, fire them every day. Trust me. I hire doctor and fire doctors every day. It seems like. Sure. And so we have a lot of crappy ones. I even hire a lot of crappy ones. And then I got to say, you know what? You're not as good as you thought you were. You got to go. Right? And I hire therapists. So I hire and fire therapists. Same way. The only way to know if you have a good one is you got to let them go at it for a while, and then you got to reevaluate and see.
So you don't think the world would be a better place if it wasn't saturated with things that go on and that we don't really need to know about?
No. I agree with you. I'm on a need to know basis about when you say it like that. That was a very general statement. And on a general statement, I'm going to say, yes, I'm on a need to know basis. I don't need to know everything the government's doing. I'm not one of those people. I don't want to know a lot of stuff. I really don't. I want to stay within my pay grade, because once you're asking me to impose my idea on something that's above my pay grade, but then I'm going to walk around there like like an expert, as if I truly understand a topic that I don't, because I based my knowledge on a bunch of filtered information that came at me, a bunch of filtered and biased information. I don't want to walk around like an expert like that, because then it just upsets my peace, and nothing's going to change my world. Like that, like the Beatles saying, nothing's going to change my world. I don't need my peace disturbed. Look, I'm an expert in some very few things. But if I'm not out there speaking from a stage, getting paid to what I'm doing for what I'm doing, and that's what I get paid to do, that's what I'm an expert in. If you're not paying me to speak on a stage about a topic, I'm not an expert in that topic. I'm an opinion head. So as long as we understand everybody's an opinion head, and I don't mind being one, I'll be an opinion head. I'm an opinion head on topics that we discussed today on some things.
Yeah, but that's why it's to me a problem. There should be restrictions on some of the things.
You're a communist. Yeah, commie. You want government control on freedom of speech? What?
No, I'm just saying, like, certain the news should have some type of guidelines.
They supposedly do.
Yeah, and they don't. You know,
they look,
really and that's one of the things. It's all about
they all lie.
How the information is sent out.
Jojo, they're selling soap.
A lot to do with that, and commentators and all this other people that we have right
Jojo,
now.
They're all selling soap. Selling soap means they're all doing it for their advertisers. They're all just selling soap. Look, I don't care what network you watch. I don't care what person you listen to or watch. At the end of the day, as soon as they reach a certain level, they're selling soap. If you don't believe me, go on TikTok right now that used to have nobody selling soap. Now, every single one of them is selling soap. Every single one of them is trying to sell you a product. Click on the link below. Click on the link below. Click on the link below. Man, come on, man. I watched you because you were entertaining me. Now you're selling me soap. I don't want you to sell me soap.
That's what I'm saying. Life is hard enough.
Yeah.
For us to be tapping into someone's baby oil.
Right.
What is going on?
Yeah, your mom's got lots to say to you right now. Your mom's calling you and say, baby, I got something to say on this topic.
Definitely about the news.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what you get for calling her out. That's what you get for calling her out. Anyway. Last words, Jojo. Innocent until proven guilty. Have we lost it in this society? Is it gone forever? Is it come back? What do you think?
How is my phone even ringing? I'm sorry. I do think it's an issue in our society, and sadly, people are, what do you call it? Guilty before innocent. I've missed the whole word, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's some people just they jump to conclusions, and you're guilty off the bat, and you don't really give anything like a chance to look at people through a clear lens once your mind is made up. That is the issue.
Man, I come from a government family from Mexico, and on my Puerto Rican side, my grandfather was law enforcement. He was a cop, and I remember him telling me when he thought I was doing dirt, which rightly so, he knew I was. He said, if there's smoke, there's fire. That's the way it is. You know, he said it in Spanish, but I'm giving you the English version of that. And he's like, you know, if we're arresting you, it's because you're guilty. He viewed everything that way. And look, man, yes, man, that man was I don't believe in that. Look, I don't know. What saddens me is that, and I'm guilty of it too. I'm a human being. My brain likes to make initial judgments. Now, because I am so anti that, I watch myself, and I really try to work through like not feeling a certain type of way about people if I hear them getting arrested for something or charged with something. I really work through it and say, all right, if I'm in that situation, would I want everybody to give me an opportunity to at least, you know, you got to make me guilty. I don't have to prove my innocence. But I think we're in a society now where we're forcing people to prove their innocence. Instead of us forcing to prove them guilty, we're forcing them to prove their innocence. We want them to show us that they're innocent, and that's just not the way it is. It's the opposite.
Where you're going at?
Yeah, and so I'm saddened by that, because I think that the way we do it with the stars, the bigger cases, I think we do it with our own friends and family members. Man, we want to force them to prove it to us that they're not the way we think that they are, instead of us proving a point that they are exactly the way that they are. And that's why you've disconnected. That's why you unfriended. That's why you feel about them in a negative way. No, man. You got to give people the opportunity to be flawed, give them the opportunity to be wrong. It's okay that they have differing opinions. It's okay that sometimes they make decisions in their life that may not be the decisions you make. But at the end of the day, we're all human, and being human means being flawed. And all of us are flawed to some degree. We better kick it back to Shaw in the studio at WOKB 1680 AM. What?
Topic next week. I like that.
What I say? Well, you got to remind me afterwards because we got to go now because Shaw's already going to be like.
I want to say, you all are amazing. All the victims who come out and feel empowered based off of sad situations. So I applaud you, and I thank you. I'm so proud of you. And those who are victims who are silent, let's heal. Please heal and just have a voice.
Amen. Adios, amigos. Back to you, Shaw, the studio, WOKB studio, 1680 AM and 100.7 FM in Orlando. Adios, amigos. Time for a taco. Goodbye.
Bye.